Okay, well, welcome everyone to a very special service today. I have been given the privilege of sitting with Bishop and Pastor Brooks. And today, as we draw nearer to that very special day of Valentines, it's a great opportunity for us to speak with Pastor and Bishop and just to glean some of the advice and some of the tips that they've got for successful relationships. This year, July will be 45 years of marriage for Bishop and Pastor. So yes, you can put your hands together for that. That's all right. Amen. And today I've just got one or two questions, not to keep you too long. Hopefully they will be able to share with you and hopefully we can learn from their experience. Amen. So welcome Bishop, welcome Pastor, and just to get straight into it today, so thanks for sitting with us today and to tell us a little bit about your experience. The first question that I've got for you was, what should we be looking for in an ideal mate when we're thinking about relationships?
Well, in my case, I was 45 years ago and beyond that. What I was looking for was a person I believe who loved God, who was committed, passionate about the things of God, because I had a desire to be in a marriage where I have direction and I have clarity. So there are many sisters I could have chosen from, but this lady was one that won me over. Wow. And although historically she rejected me several times, I kept believing and hoping that she'll change her mind. Eventually she did, and we got married. So it has to be a person who loves God. If you're a believer, love God and parent, their own parent, but also have a desire to become who they're supposed to be. No pretenders, no flashy girl, no fancy girl in excessive personality. And one person was calm enough but strong enough to stand up with me and to help me become who I should be, and I help them become who they should be. So, if you don't know who you are, though, you can choose anybody. When you know who you are, you have an idea who you want to enter into your life with you.
Wow. Pastor, anything to add to that?
I would only add to that somebody who's confident. So everything Bishop said I agree with, but also somebody who's confident. Because believe it or not, that's the thing that won me over. He said that I won him over. That's the thing that won me over to him.
Right.
Whenever you see this guy, he's walking like, he looks like he knows exactly where he's going and he knows what he's going to do, and he still walks like that today. And that was so, it was like compelling. It really, really was. And it helped me to decide, because I did have other options, but it helped me to decide. And that really, I think that was the deciding factor, because I always grew up in an atmosphere of church and church stuff. So I wasn't really looking for somebody that didn't love the Lord, but it was his confidence that really won me over.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Next question is then, what is the right time to start thinking of marriage?
Okay, we started at a young age, really. We had nothing, in my case, I had nothing really. I had no money. But in saying that now, I can say, I would suggest, if in today's society you want to get married, you need to prepare yourself first, again, mentally, economically, and have a purpose, a plan. You may not have everything together, but have a plan that shows your spouse to be where I'm going. So, in our day, people have the house or one room in the house. In our case, rent a room in the house. But I would say now, a house is important. We can start with a small apartment or a flat to start with. We can buy one, at least one, I don't know. But save money. Save money as much as you can. I told our sons, I told other people, my car with George, don't buy a car before you buy a house. But these guys buy fancy cars and have no house. But I'm saying, if possible, save your money, live wisely, don't waste your money on fancy stuff. Save your money. Invest money, look at pensions, look at things like those, and then when you have things, you can approach a young lady with a hope you can start somewhere. Even if you're going to rent for a short time, you can pay the rent and furnish your house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But don't rush to get married because you can. Marry because you're ready mentally, economically, and socially. And the person to whom you believe is right for you, you have enough discussion, you have enough understanding with them, know who they are, their parents are, the background, the kind of life they lived, and all that stuff. You know what you're going into. Don't go in blindfolded. Know what you're going into, what you're going into.
Excellent. Pastor?
I think all of those things, but you should actually finish your education. Finish your education, have some savings, learn to discipline yourself in the sense of you're not all over the place. And as a young woman, you're not spending all your money on eyelashes and fingernails, you know. You're actually putting something away, there's some substance, so that you're bringing something to the table. It's not just looking at the guy and he's supposed to provide everything, but you must bring something to the table as well. And then my number one advice to people getting married now is not to spend all the money on the wedding day.
Right.
Save some of the money for the marriage itself. But we all seem to have this desire to have a big, flashy wedding, big dress, big cake, fancy, spending thousands of pounds. And we get ourselves into debt, and sometimes the marriage break up before the wedding is paid for. We've known that happen in several cases. So I think really good, sound advice is keep the wedding within a reasonable budget, and you don't have to invite all 5,000 of your relatives. You know, you can just invite the people who are going to be part of your life going forward into the future.
And also, we need to have premarital preparation. We need some counseling, preparation. Both person deal with the issues of past hurts, rejection, isolation, all those pain you've gone through. Deal with those first. If your father's a bully at home, if your mother was something else, you know, those can impact your own marriage negatively. Deal with those stuff, your hurts and your rejection, your isolation, your fear. Deal with those. Get those resolved first before you go into a relationship and marriage.
That's a really, really good point, because most young people getting married, they don't actually realize that those things are going to be a problem.
Right.
We think we know everything until somebody tells us something we don't know, and we realize that we didn't know it.
Wow.
But we do premarital preparation, but we're always looking for things that may need deeper counseling, that need to be dealt with and brought out before the couple enter into marriage. Because you don't want to enter marriage on the back foot. You know, you want to go in there confident, and even if the situation hasn't been totally resolved, both parties must be aware of the issue so that we know it's something that we have to deal with.
And again, we said, Dr. Lewis Ed Cole said this. He said in marriage there are 3 areas. There are problems: communication, sex, and money. But also how to feel to that which is unconfessed situation, like sin or thing happened, and also desire that wasn't revealed.
Right.
Our expectation. And if you make promises you don't fulfill in time, it causes problems.
Right.
Plus other things. So we need to be honest and be transparent enough to share where you're at, what you've been through, what losses you've made, and what things you've gone through, but you got through it, and where you're going from now. And those things help to build a rapport. And also, if the young lady, a mother or father doesn't agree with the marriage, and vice versa, a son, don't rush it. If you can't make peace with the family, be careful. Because sooner or later, if it does not produce a family unity, parent agreeing, then you have problems to marry later.
Yes.
So try and get the understanding. And maybe if it isn't united, you have to wait and leave it. Because sometimes, later in the road, the same thing bites you.
So just on that point, I mean, so there's no shame in counselling to step back from the process. There's no pressure to continue and go on to be married just because you're getting counselled. Is that what you're saying?
Well, we advise people to come and start premarital preparation before they get engaged.
Right.
Because if perchance you find out something, it may delay the plans, or you may even decide this is not the one.
Right.
And so it's private still. But we tend to announce our engagement, and then we feel compelled to have to go through with it. I was speaking to a young lady just last Saturday, and she was saying to me she knew it wasn't the right thing, but because of the pressure from her parents and all the money that had been spent, she felt she had to go through with it. And the marriage ended quite soon in a separation. But she said she knew before the wedding day, but she was too proud to call it off. And that's a shame, for people to get into that situation.
Yeah.
So premarital preparation and counselling need to go hand in hand. And we shouldn't be ashamed for counselling, because counselling is not people telling you what to do, but it's helping you to unravel situations, to take out obstacles, and to fill those gaps with new stuff that's going to empower your life.
Preparing for the future, really, isn't it?
Yes.
Preparing for the future.
Yes.
I mean, we did a seminar in Stafford many moons ago. And I was teaching something, and I said a few things, and two things happened. One lady was engaged to a friend of ours. I think I said to the fact that if you're not going the same way, how can you build a relationship? Another thing we were saying, we were doing together. And right then at seminar,
She took off the ring.
and cancelled. Right? Yeah, to a lawyer as well. Took her ring off and gave it back to the guy.
And it was a nice ring.
Yeah, says I don't want to marry you. I can't marry you. My point is, when people have their open, they can decide, I pretend it's okay. But I'm saying no. If you're along in fact, they come to us, I'm saying to them, look, if along the counseling line you see things that doesn't change, can't be improved, don't go with it.
Right.
Back off and wait. If it doesn't change, stay away. Agree with that.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Just last question, and then we'll close. So, kind of a 2-in-1. What would you say are the kind of 3 important things for a happy marriage, and how would you advise that we deal with challenges and conflicts based on your experience?
Well, face them one at a time, because it's inevitable. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be problems. But I think that Bishop always says, whatever you tolerate dominates. And the thing is, at the beginning of a relationship, people tend not to be totally honest. Because they don't want the relationship to break down. They don't want to put the person off. So they can pretend a little bit and, accept things that really they don't want to accept.
Right.
So for anybody contemplating a relationship, anybody in a relationship, I'm saying be honest, be open, sit down, talk it through. Have a plan of how we will deal with that situation. Should it arise again, or that challenge, if it happens again, how are we going to resolve it? How are we going to deal with it? And how would you like me to address whatever in the future? But we have to understand that there's going to be conflict. There is. We're two different people coming from two different backgrounds. You see, people think a mixed marriage is when there's a person from one country marrying somebody else from another country. But a mixed marriage is there's a man in it and there's a woman in it, okay? And it's two different worlds. And when you come together, there's going to be challenges.
Right.
There's going to be upsets. Because listen, we've got all of our unspoken expectations. And this guy that we married is going to morph into Prince Charming. He's going to be able to read our minds and give us exactly what we want at exactly the right time, and it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
Then I know it.
You have to communicate. You have to talk. You have to express what you need. You have to express what you're expecting. You have to express what you would like to have.
Okay.
And then over time, it's called negotiation. So over time, then we can actually get to that place where we can move together, comfortably in synchronicity, that's a word.
It is.
And we can have synergy. And we can actually build a relationship that gets better and better.
Excellent.
I say to all the couples, your wedding day should be the worst day of your marriage. Why? Because every day after that should get better and better.
Wow.
But also, Minister Simon, I don't want people to think that relationship only happens in marriage. Because there's single people here in the church, and there's all different kinds of relationships. But all of us need to negotiate our relationships and know how to treat people the same way that we would like to be treated. And the only way that can happen is for us to open our mouths and share and talk and explore and be willing to understand that we won't always get our way. But if we negotiate, we will come to a middle road where both of us can feel, and when I say both of us, it could be me and my sister, it could be me and my brother, it could be my sister at church, it could be me and my child, But we speak. But what we tend to do is get offended and go off into a corner and decide we ain't speaking to that person anymore. But all relationships need investment. Investment of time, investment of love, kindness, empathy, and some money helps, you know? And so that's across the relationships.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, conflict comes, but I tell you, one was a reason. Isaiah 1:8, and conflict is a reason. You speak and I listen. And then I would ask you, is it what you meant? Then I can respond accordingly. I don't interrupt people talking. I like to listen. I hear exactly what they're saying. I know to respond, because that way I can make more sense. And hopefully shed some light on their weaknesses in the situation, and show that we can put this better if we do this. So I'm a listener. I'm known for a listener. But if you don't listen and you both talk at the same time, we'll learn nothing.
Right.
Listen to hear to understand to believe to accept to apply. Application for me is the master key, not just talking. You go away and make the changes necessary. See what needs change in my life, right? And you do the same. And that for me is important, because if we can reason as wise people and get to the root of the matter, we can deal with it if we're honest.
Right.
Because I discover in marriage, whether in the church or not, the reason we have a separation, divorce, is because one person or both don't want to change. Sometimes one wants to, and they'll go. And the other one, no, let's work it through. But the other person, no, and gone. But the reality is, if we agree to work it through, it can work, you see? But there's always one person decide, I'm not doing not this no more. But God is saying we can learn to reason first.
Right.
If that doesn't work, then...
But I think that's because they wait till so late. One of them was already said, I'm done. And there's nothing harder than changing somebody's mind who have said they're done. It's almost impossible.
Yes.
That's true. That is true. So in marriage, from a Christian perspective, though, we must rely on the Word of God to help us.
Right.
The Bible should be the final authority in our home, making serious decisions, because the Bible guides us into our truth. It leads us without the Spirit into understanding God's will and God's mind about the situation. But sometimes the Bible will push a corner, and I use my feelings and my friends and whatever. But in the end, we're going to lose, because freedom comes with responsibility.
Right.
And so unless you manage that freedom well, you're going to regret leaving or whatever. So yeah.
Excellent. Thank
Talk
you
it
so
through,
much.
yeah.
And then finally, any final words to our couples or to our singles as we enter this season?
Well, I would say know who you are, love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, you will not have the ability or the capacity to love anybody else.
Right.
Neither will you be able to receive love. Because if you don't love yourself, what you say to some, oh, I love you, and they're so uncomfortable with it because they don't love themselves, so they can't receive love from anybody else. And that's okay, just a one-off situation. But if I marry you and I don't love myself, you could do whatever you want to do, move the world, tell me that you love me, and I still won't believe it. After a while, that's very wearing on a person. And they could walk away from that relationship. So love yourself, know who you are, discover your purpose in life, discover the purpose that God has given you, because that will determine your direction. And whoever you're going to marry should be going in the same direction. And even if you don't get married, right, because you know your direction, you will walk with confidence and you will walk with trust in God. So not everybody's going to get married.
Right.
You know, marriage isn't the answer for nothing, really. You know, you just swap one set of problems for a new set of problems. I'm not trying to put anybody off, but you have to have the capacity and the ability to adjust, negotiate, and realize that if you do get married, it's work.
Right.
And you don't get retirement, and there's no pension.
Well, the Apostle Paul says, we are going to have trouble in the flesh in marriage. It's a reality. But also, conflicts of any kind, challenges were meant to come in this life.
Yes.
Once Adam sinned, everything was loose. So those who want to be married must be prepared to be married. Because Abram said to his servant, go and find a wife for my son Isaac. His mother is dead, it was my wife Sarah. He's alone, he's mourning his mother, he wants comfort. But don't go to Canaanites because they don't believe in God. Go to my town, where I came from, and choose from there.
Right.
What I love, the man of God prayed and went. Declared what he wanted to see, happened accordingly. But then, when it got to Rebecca's house, when Abram's servant said to Rebecca, you want to come with us? She said, yes. The family said, yes, go, okay. So she was ready. She was in a state of readiness.
Yes.
She was prepared. Another woman are not ready to be married. They're not prepared. Rebecca was ready. She knew what she wanted. She knew the job of the wife. She was going prepared to serve her husband, to be with him, and all that stuff. Unless a man or woman prepared themselves to be married by a husband or a wife and a mother and father, it's not going to work. You have to prepare yourself first. Prepare in counseling, saving money, living good, living a life of transparency, be faithful, be constant, be determined, and say what you mean and mean what you say, and be honest to your parents, your friends, and to others, but trust God. And when the time comes, you'll know when to move because things are in place as best as you can.
Amen.
Bishop, Pastor, thank you so much for your time today. It's been wonderful. And we hope that everybody has been blessed by the advice, and moreover that we will take action on what we've heard today. God bless you and enjoy the rest of the service.
God bless you, Jay.
God bless you.